Hello, you're listening to the Chinese Chat Poetry Talk podcast. 中文热聊之诗歌漫谈 I'm the host, 李白. Welcome to my channel to read Chinese classic poetry, learn and practice Mandarin. On this program, we invite Shenzhan Liao from China Institute, New York, to read and discuss Chinese classic poetry. Welcome, Shenzhan.
Today we are reading 齐安郡后池绝句. You may wonder, there are 7 characters in the Chinese title. Why the English title is so simple and short? Because the first 3, 齐安郡, is the name where the pond is. The translator, Ben Wang, Wang 老师, he just omitted the name of the location, just at the back pond. That's the 后池 part. 绝句 is the genre of this poem. It's a quatrain by Du Mu. So very briefly about Du Mu, born in 803, which in general considered to be mid or late Tang dynasty. Some of you may know about Tang history. After the grand glorious High Tang period, which ended around mid-8th century, Tang Empire was greatly weakened by Anlushan rebellion, lasted from 755 to 763. But when we talk about Tang Dynasty, oftentimes Tang Dynasty was divided into several periods, and between the High Tang period, that was before the Anlushan rebellion, everything perceived to be much more grander, and like Li Bai and Du Fu and many other great Tang poets were belonging to that High Tang period. There are many great poets and famous poems after High Tang, and that's the mid and late Tang dynasty. But generally speaking, poems in mid or late Tang dynasty are not considered to have the same kind of admiration and literary status as High Tang. However, the poet we are reading today, Du Mu, is notably one of the best and the most known poets during those periods. He came from a very prominent family. His grandfather was a minister at the Tang court and a scholar responsible for compiling the Tang dynasty. So we can picture that he's very well educated, yet by Du Mu's time, his family have been declining. Today, Du Mu is known by his poems, especially quatrains, like the one we're going to read today. 4 lines compacted with colors, emotions, and meanings subtly. And we can see in this poem, we will talk a little bit about that, subtly underlining his regrets and heartbreaks in life. So let me read the entire poem first. 齐安郡后池绝句，灵透浮萍绿锦池，夏莺千啭弄蔷薇。近日无人看微雨，鸳鸯相对浴红衣。Here we have Mandarin ducks. So yuan and yang both are the Mandarin ducks, but refer to different gender. So in Chinese culture, Mandarin ducks, the male and the female birds, it has a particular meaning, cultural meaning. Love, couple, because yuan yang, well, if you know, I only know this about yuan yang because of the cultural meaning. They tend to, the male and the females tend to stay with each other for the rest of their life. Unlike the yin, so we have 2 birds here, 2 kinds of birds here, 夏莺, and then you have yuan yang, right? So there's always that kind of in pairs, either the meaning are reinforcing each other or opposite to each other. So even in this short quatrain, you have two birds that with by nature, at least in this poem, referred very different culturally. So 鸳鸯, because they together throughout their lives are symbols of loyal love between couples in Chinese culture. And here I highlighted Hong. So in a traditional Chinese wedding, the couples are in red. So here, not only 鸳鸯, they are colorful. They are actually colorful birds, but to specifically refer to the red wedding clothing for the couple. When we would understand in Chinese culture, especially if you encounter Chinese paintings, 鸳鸯tends to be one of the artist's favorite birds, as long as love. So knowing that, let's take a look at the poem in its entirety again. Pretty much, it's a lovely picture of an early summer day at the pond with the drizzles, and you have so many different colors that's just blossoming and thriving in this scene. What colors can you see? 浮萍, the duckweeds, they are floating on the surface of the water. And then lin is that the water chestnut. They can be green and with a little bit of pinkish on the top. And then of course, 鸳鸯and its own, are quite colorful themselves, especially the male. And then there is a little bit of the melancholy that no one is watching all of this thriving, this pond in this picture as well. Okay, let's read this one more time. 齐安郡后池绝句，灵透浮萍，绿锦池，夏莺千啭，弄蔷薇。近日无人，看微雨，鸳鸯相对，浴红衣。好的。
Thanks for your listening. I'm 李白，我是李白。See you next time. 我们下次见。